That's carried. Great. Len, do you want to go to the budget now, item 12?
Thank you.
And chat through that one, and then we'll go to questions again.
As I pointed out, we've worked very hard with the foundation getting this right, and so we basically have endorsed what they've done in their budget setting. The board had said it and approved it. Really, they have shown that they can generate some savings for the council over time. They'll come back to us in year 3 when they need the additional $100,000 if that's still required. That's how they'll work on that. So unless there's any questions, I'd like to take it as read.
Thank you. Oh no, we've got questions first, Jim. I think. Yanni, have you got questions?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the improved reporting, you've got greater confidence that they will, where the money's being spent. What I don't get a sense of, and the fee-for-service model and the robustness of meeting the shortfall in funding. So how are we assured that if we put the money in, that they're not going to come back for additional funding in terms of what we're putting on budget, like in terms of the sustainability?
The key thing for the foundation is, having set this budget, they will have to cut their cloth to meet their budget.
Right.
If they know that they're only going to get $350 from us next year and $200 the following year, that's what they've committed to. It would be embarrassing for the trust to come back. So I believe that they will do their utmost to live within their budget, to make sure that they deliver what they say they're going to deliver, and we can only say that in year 2023, when they come back for their budget setting at that point in time, that they would have met that obligation.
Yeah. And can I just check in terms of our agreement with them? So when does our agreement end?
2023.
2023. And there's no current commitment for anything above than what we've proposed. That's completely up to us to choose the amount.
Yeah, well, even the 2023 budget will go through this committee. Yeah. So when we come to that $200,000, that's what they'll ask for at that point in time. And then, if there's a requirement to do additional funding, they will come to us in any out years. But there's no certainty on any of that funding.
Yeah, so
if they turn around and develop a surplus which doesn't require that money in 2022, we won't be giving it to them.
Yeah, so it's no different. This is just sending an indication to the LTP of the reduced levels of funding.
Yeah, I mean, previously we were told we had a commitment for a certain amount of time, and so, but now we've got the discretion, which is good. Just the only other thing, the budget analysis, I mean, 5.11, you talk about the salary costs. I mean, have we benchmarked that against other foundations?
We did work around that with the review with Deloitte's. Where publicly available information is available, we did a review. If there was no information available, we were unable to complete that work. So from a point of view is that that salary is a basis between the board and the employee, not between the council and the foundation.
So there's no really ability for us, if we had concerns with anything in the budget, to raise. What's the process for us if we had concerns about what's in the budget to raise it?
We have to rely on the board of the foundation to spend within the remit that they have as a foundation and as a charitable foundation.
Yeah, so it's really
that is the board's responsibility.
So we can't tag funding to specific things.
So
but the only mechanism I think is what I'm hearing is that you would reduce that funding if you weren't comfortable. Yeah. But I don't think that's the move.
The support agreement does not in any way limit us from limiting their spending. So basically, the $600,000 previously used to give to them was a grant with no tag. Now they've reduced their money to a sizable saving. There's still no requirement to tag their funds.
So just before we go, Miles is just going to say something.
We'll be working with the foundation over the next year to move away from a grant approach to this to a fee for service, and so I think they're pretty keen to move away from this grant environment that they're operating in at the moment, and you can see that by the reduced funding that they've put forward. So we'll be able to decide in future funding requirements whether we actually need the service.
Great.
Just to be clear, so there's an ongoing expectation that if they do anything for the city council, we would pay.
No, that's not what he said. What
Like
he
the
said
fee for
was-
service, right?
No, or
Is
unless
that-
you want to say it, but
Look, we'll be working with the foundation over the coming year to move away from a grant environment to one where we pay a fee for a service if that service is required. And we will see how that pans out over the next couple of years of funding.
so effectively we'd be treated like other organisations they deal with throughout the city. Once we get to the end of the tap being turned off on this funding. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Well, I'm happy to move this recommendation. So Jimmy's happy to second it. Great. Any discussion? Yanni?
I think it's really good. I really appreciate the work that staff have done on this. We've had a lot of answers to the questions that were raised in the review. We've had an increase in transparency of information about where budgets are going and being spent. So, and we've got a significant reduction in the funding that we're putting in. We're putting in significant funding to this foundation since its inception. So it is important that we do have transparency around it. And I think it's really welcome for those of us that recall when it was established, we were sold that there would be other parties that would be contributing. That was the whole benefit of having it outside of council, was that it would attract additional funding for its operations. So I'm really welcoming seeing this today. I think this is a step forward, and I appreciate the work that our staff have done to get us to this point. Thank you. And the work that the foundation has done as well.
Anyone else? No. I mean, the only thing I would say is that they came in for a briefing probably 10 days ago, and they accepted the challenge we laid down some time ago, which was to go away, be less reliant on the council, and to save the ratepayer money. So, I actually think, Yanni and I have probably copped a bit of criticism for, the persistent questioning of this for some time, but it does demonstrate the healthy tension that should exist when we're funding external organisations. The result is we've saved well over $500,000, in the last 2 years, and we've made a very clear line in the sand that going forward, I think Miles indicated that, we will be treated a lot like other organisations throughout the city. So this is a really good thing for ratepayers, but also a really good thing for the foundation. It sort of sets them free in a way that they can go and deliver on what they're really good at without being tied to the council. So on that note, I will put the motion. All in favour? Against? It's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks, Len.
Thank you, everybody.
And Andrew, do you want to come back?